stations, hello stations. Good evening. This is W1HQL for the W4SVI Everglades Amateur Radio Club Net. I'll be acting as your net control station for the Everglades Amateur Radio Club weekly informational net. The purpose of this net is to gather club members and other radio operators to talk about ham-related stuff, get on the air and chat. Of course, all radio amateurs are invited to participate in this net, and you do not need to be a member of the club in order to check into the net. This net operates at 7:30 p.m. each Tuesday evening on this repeater, and as always, we will yield the frequency to emergency or priority traffic at any time if needed. Our club is an ARRL Special Services Club. We do offer ham licensing testing, yearly field day operations, and other ham-related activities. Our club is associated with the City of Homestead's Emergency Operations Center, the American Red Cross, Miami-Dade, Races Aries, and will assist in emergency communications support. Regular club meetings occur the second Friday of each month at 7 o'clock p.m. For Aries-related information, and then we start at 7:30 for regular club meeting. And where is that at? That's at the John D. Campbell Agricultural Center, and that address is 18710 Southwest 288th Street over there in the Redlands. My call sign again is W1HQL. My name is Steve. I'm located here in Homestead, and let's start taking check-ins.
Kilo 4 Fox Uniform, Frank in West Kendall. I have traffic for the net, Steve.
All right. Nobody won that one, but the last person I did hear was Frank, AK4FU.
Steve, this is AK4FU. I have traffic for the net.
Okay. Stations that attempted to check in, stand by. Let AK4FU passes traffic. Go ahead, Frank.
As of this moment, Florida Aries has not had any calls for radio operators. However, they have issued a form that is posted on MD Cares for anyone who cares to volunteer outside of the Miami-Dade County area should it become necessary. As of this moment, we do have a hurricane watch net that on 20 meters the frequency is 14.325. That's 14.325 on 20 meters. On 40 meters, the frequency is 7.268. We are currently watching and monitoring the situation. The incident commander for the state of Florida has not requested any additional radio operators of this time. However, that could change. So stay tuned and go to MD Cares from time to time for local storm updates regarding South Florida Aries and Hurricane Dorian. That's all I have, Steve. Back to the net.
All right, Frank, thanks. That's Frank, Vice President of the Everglades Amateur Radio Club, giving us some information on Aries. I filled out that form and sent it in the event there was a need for deployment and things were going to be quiet down, at least in our neighborhood. Been listening to both of those frequencies on HF. I've been hearing traffic on 7.268, but I haven't heard anything on 14.325. That could be all just a propagation issue, but 7.268 has been relatively active. Hearing just the call-outs to see if there are any stations in need of any assistance out there, and that's about it. Also, another note, if you do have an HF radio, you tune into AM 810. I had been listening to that station, and it went dark. That was an AM station right in Freeport, in the northernmost Bahamian island. It was just west of Marsh Harbor, and it was really interesting listening to them pleading for people to, if you hadn't left, you need to stay off the streets and take cover. You could hear the desperation in their voices. It was pretty sad listening to it. But in any event, 8:10 a.m., try tuning in to see if and when they do come up on the air. Well, that's all I got, Frank. Thanks. Let's take some additional check-ins.
Kilo November 4, Uniform Tango November, Robert in the Redlands, no traffic.
KG2CS with traffic.
Okay, Bill, KG2CS, good with your traffic. Right, first time I've heard you come in, that's strange. Did you get a new radio or do a different setup? Stand by, Bill. KM4UTN, heard you in there before, but usually you sound like you're coming up from on a portable radio.
Yeah, I have a base station set up with an outside antenna.
All right, sounds great, man. Good job. Bill, go ahead with your traffic.
Yeah, definitely. Was it Brian or Robert? But anyway, yeah, full quiet in the repeater. Nice job setting up your equipment. I just wanted to mention that for 7268, yesterday I was working in home office in the morning before I headed up to work, and they were asking for Southern Florida and Monroe County check-ins with current weather report. So I went ahead, and since I was in Monroe County, I could give them a decent report on what the water is like, because Florida Bay was up about 3 feet. And the water right now is still, the meteorologists call confused, because we have some of the wave action from Dorian and then the usual winds we have here. So in all my years, usually I just stay out of the way, but they asked me to check in on Hurricane WatchNet, so they were appreciative, and I took down the information. Of course, now I'm an official weather spotter and all that, you know. Anyway, Steve, good to hear you in there. Louis and Frank, I know you gave some great information, and kudos on your work. So 73 is for now, KG2CS, Bill in Key Largo.
All right, Bill, thank you for the information and update. And that was pretty neat, participating in the Hurricane WatchNet. Also, do you have a relay for me?
Yes, that would be Margarita K4 Charlie Victor Whiskey. Thank you, Steve.
Good evening. This is Casey. Luciano, Mike 7. Next control, everyone as well. Good evening for every one of you there in the frequency. And stay warm.
Hey, Luciano, good to hear you in there. Hope all is well with you. Thanks for checking in. Any additional check-ins?
Zero for Uniform Tango Lima, Ron, South Miami, no traffic. Kendall, no traffic. 73.
Okay, Ron, I got you, K4UTL, and whoever gave me the 73 wasn't able to get your call sign at all.
It's Kilo November 4, Sierra Lima Lima, in West Kendall, Kim.
All right, Kim, Kilo November 4, Sierra Lima Lima, got you loud and clear, thank you. Any additional check-ins?
Kilo India 4, Victor Echo Yankee. Louis, what's date? And I have some traffic.
Roger, on your traffic, go.
Hey, Steve, good evening. I have some relays. The first one is November 4, Charlie Juliet Golf, Carlos, followed by Kilo Charlie 4, Charlie Sierra Kilo Eddie, followed by Kilo November 4, Lima Tango Zulu, Julian, break.
Okay, I got you down, Kilo India 4, Victor Yankee, November 4, Charlie Juliet Golf, Kilo Charlie 4, Charlie Sierra Kilo, and Kilo November 4, Lima Tango Zulu. Go with the rest?
Yes, sir, I got three more. Whiskey Charlie 4, Bravo Papa, Jose Antonio. That was Whiskey Charlie 4, Bravo Papa, followed by Whiskey 4, Alpha Sierra, Alberto, Whiskey 4, Alpha Sierra, Alberto, and last but not least, Eric, down in the Keys, Kilo Papa 4, Kilo Delta, Kilo Papa 4, Kilo Delta.
Roger, got Whiskey Charlie 4, Bravo Papa, Whiskey 4, Alpha Sierra, and Kilo Papa 4, Kilo Delta. Thanks, Louis.
Yes, sir, 73. This is November 4, Charlie Juliet Golf. Second in with no traffic.
Kilo November 4, Kilo Sierra Victor, Fred at Homestead, no traffic. Good evening, Steve.
November 4, Charlie Juliet Golf. Got you, Fred. Good evening also. Kilo November 4, Kilo Sierra Victor. And I also copied Kilo November 4, Romeo Golf Fox. I got you guys down. All right. Some quick announcements. Route 66 on the air special event set has been announced. The Citrus Belt Amateur Radio Club of San Bernardino, California, W6JVT, will be hosting the 20th annual Route 66 on the air special event on between the days of September 7th through the 15th. The yearly event commemorates the 1926 construction of the famous Route 66, the country's first major improved highway linking the U.S. heartland with the West Coast. 20 stations will be on the air along the route, 2 of them as rover stations on the highway between Santa Monica, California, and Chicago, Illinois. All 20 stations will employ one-by-one call signs, so a cool event. So those of you that are operating HF, you may be able to pick up, a cool QSL card. Also, needless to say, we're just on the tail end of dodging another bullet. Reminded me of Matthew a couple of years back, but Hurricane Dorian certainly had threatened all of us, and amateur radio stepped up to the plate. Your SARNet folks on the statewide network were ever diligent, as well as your local areas, providing reports and offering up resources in the event they are needed. So the amateur radio community really pulled together well with this. Also, the races organization staffed the Dade County EOC. I heard them on the air on the SARNet checking in. So we had representatives, at least amateur radio representatives at the state level, meaning utilizing the SARNet from Miami-Dade County, which is nice to hear. All right, and now that we're getting out of this, it's September is National Preparedness Month. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, as we all fondly refer to as FEMA, and you can add whatever words to those letters you want. They sponsor the National Preparedness Month each September to promote family and community disaster and emergency planning throughout the year. The 2019 theme is Prepared, Not Scared. That's Prepared, Not Scared. FEMA is a long-time ARRL partner agency, and this year FEMA wants participants, which include amateur radio emergency services, ARES volunteers, to share their activities and success stories, as well as brief description of their National Preparedness Month plans. Okay, or that, like they like to call it, because FEMA is just loaded with acronyms, the NPM, the National Preparedness Month. And an appropriate submission would be to your ARES team an appropriate submission would be your ARES team's planned or conducted ARRL simulated test activity. The set or simulated emergency test is designed to assess the skills and preparedness of ARES and other organizations involved with emergency and disaster response. The 2019 set is scheduled for nationwide during the weekend of October 5 and 6. Any type of activity forthcoming in our local area will be, I'm sure that information would be forwarded to you, but nationally the simulated emergency test occurs on that weekend, the 5th and the 6th. Often between the counties, sometimes the dates differ, only out of convenience, but they usually do occur in October. So stay tuned to your internet, and also stay tuned to your local nets for any additional information regarding any upcoming simulated emergency tests. This is W1HQL for the W4 SBI Everglades Amateur Radio Club Net. We'll take some check-ins, any comments or questions.
Whiskey 4, Lima Charlie Mike from Miami, no traffic.
November 4, Hotel Golf Zulu, Miami. Good evening, Steve.
Kilo 4 Zulu Romeo Hotel, Steve West Kendall, good evening, no traffic.
Copied Whiskey 4, Lima Charlie Mike, Kilo November 4, Hotel Golf Zulu, and Kilo 4 is Zulu Romeo Hotel. Any additional check-ins or corrections?
Kilo Golf 4, Oscar, X-Ray Oscar. Jaime, Olympia Heights, no traffic.
Kilo 4, Sierra November Bravo, Jose, no traffic.
Alpha 4, Sierra Whiskey, Stephen and Sunset with no traffic.
Whiskey Alpha 4, Victor India Sierra, Tony Portable in North Miami, no traffic.
Okay, acknowledging Kilo Golf 4, Oscar X-Ray Oscar. I got Jose, Kilo 4, Sierra November Bravo, Stephen Alpha 4, Sugar Whiskey. And Tony, operating portable as Whiskey Alpha 4, Victor India Sierra. Thanks, guys, for checking in. You all came in loud and clear. Okay, Florida Aries members volunteer in preparation for Hurricane Dorian. The Florida's 3 Aries section emergency coordinators are collecting information from Aries volunteers in preparation for the arrival of Hurricane Dorian. This is just a segue from AK4FU Frank, our Aries section leader here in Miami. This is just a follow-up of what he mentioned in his brief report earlier on in the net. The SECs have set up a volunteer form for Florida Aries members to express their desire to help in areas of Florida affected by the impending, that would have been affected by the impending hurricane. The volunteer information will be used to fulfill mission requests and allow the section leaders to match operators with the most appropriate assignments. Florida Aries members are requested to complete that form, which is not a commitment if they are willing to deploy if called upon to serve in a communications role. This is only a volunteer list, and prospective volunteers will be notified if they are selected to respond to an assignment. Interested volunteers must have completed the IS-100, the IS-200, the IS-700, and the IS-800 courses, and there may be a background check involved with that. There are no exceptions to these requirements, and they remind you that radio amateurs should not self-deploy. So again, those certificates that you need if you are interested in emergency comms and interested in the future of deploying as an Aries operator, you must have the IS-100, the IS-200, the IS-700, and the IS-800, all available at no charge. All you have to do is go up to the EMI website, and they have all the courses there that you need that you can take online and you test online. All you need to do if you don't have one is apply for a student ID, and you get one right away. And in order to take the test, you have to have that student ID number. So I highly recommend that you take the time and take on these courses and try to get them completed. And just take your time with it. If you've got an hour to kill or 2 hours to kill and you're at the computer, just sit down and then take one at a time. Within a week or two, you'll have all 4 certificates and ready to rock and roll. And you'll be very proud of yourselves, and we'd be proud of you if you did. Finally, ham radio also played a starring role in another recent drama, and this one was again in the United States. Help may not have been heaven sent when Clayton, W5 PFG, found himself in distress in Big Bend National Park in Texas after his pickup truck got stuck in the mud. Help did, however, come from above. What we mean by that is that from the remote area of the park that Clayton was in, he wasn't able to hit any repeaters, cell phones, or anything, but he got on his amateur radio FM, tuned up the AO92 satellite, and actually spoke with Kevin, KK4YEL here in Florida, and I know Kevin, I've had QSOs with him before on the satellite, and he notified park authorities of the emergency. In this remote part of the park with no access to mobile phone coverage or radio repeaters, ham radio still came through for Clayton. a very impressed satellite enthusiast, John Breyer, who I know very well, on the over in the Tampa area, KG48KV, shared this story on his Twitter feed and also posted audio of the rescue call that had been captured by Hector, another amateur radio operator that I've talked to on satellite over in Cuba. So if you want to hear it for yourself, you can go to John's Twitter feed at SpaceComms1. That's his Twitter feed is called SpaceComms1, and you can listen to the stress call from that gentleman, Clayton, that was stuck and used the satellite to get help. I thought that was a pretty cool story. Folks, you are tuned in to the Everglades Amateur Radio Club's W4SVI is our club call sign, and this is our weekly informational net. It's not just for you to listen to, but it's also for you to participate in. So it'd be nice for anyone to tell us about any new equipment that you may have had, any experiences that you had, either that are amateur radio related, or any hints or tips or things like that you want to relay to the listening audience. Remember, this is your net, and I personally would enjoy some participation. But with that, let's take some check-ins. We've had a pretty good night so far. Let's keep it going.
This is Kilo Mike 4 Delta Foxtrot Romeo. Jim in Cutler Ridge, no traffic.
Down, Kilo Mike 4 Delta Fox Romeo. Thanks for checking in. Any other check-ins? Nothing heard. Upcoming, don't forget, we're in a new month now. It's September 3rd. So our next meeting is not this coming Friday, but the Friday after. We're the second Friday of every month, So we're looking forward to seeing you at the meeting. We'll be talking about Winter Field Day and other plans that we've got cooking in the works. I think we need to schedule another free flea too. So that's something that we need to talk about. So looking forward to the meeting that'll be coming up. Anybody out there prepare a Go Kit or anything like that? And if you did, I'm just curious on what type of antenna that you were planning to use with your Go Kit.
Review?
Hey, Frank, go ahead.
I have a Tram 1481 that goes on top of a 24-foot push-up pole, and I've rigged a steel plate and pipe mount that roll my back tire over and supports the whole thing up in the air. It works quite well. I can use the tie downs in the bed of the truck to tie down the antenna as well with guy wires if need be. And it works pretty well. We're running off of solar and one giant RV 12-volt battery, lithium iron, and we have our Go Kit ready to go. We could take it anywhere.
Copy. That's a nice setup. That antenna base that you're talking about, is that something that you built, or because I've seen those also for sale, like at DX Engineering and things like that, those ground plates that you drive on top of. Did you purchase it, or did you build it?
No, I built it myself, a 1/4-inch steel plate and a 2 1/8 inside diameter steel pipe, cleaned it off real good, and I welded it on there. It wasn't rocket science, and it came out pretty decent.
What I've been looking at is building a repeater box, using two of the low-cost, like Bofengs, because they have the little interfaces, and, there's inexpensive, what do you call them? The cans. Oh my goodness! You know what I'm talking about? Those cans that you use for repeaters. We've got them at the club. I'm having a brain freeze here.
Yeah, the duplexers. I don't even know if you need that with that Bofang rig, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I know that they're so they're low in wattage output. Yeah, you're probably right. But I was thinking of putting one together, just going over to the Harbor Freight, pick up one of those Pelican-like boxes and fabricating mounts and brackets and making a nice, neat job, battery charge and whatnot, and setting up a little portable repeater. You could go to a parking garage or something and set that up on a tripod and have it where you could plug it into a cigarette lighter of your car, or just hook it to a 12-volt battery, or plug it in with a 12-volt power supply, and you can have pretty good coverage.
So, Steve, this sounds like a very interesting project. I'd like to see it. If you need any help with it, let me know. This is AK4FU-Back-to-Net.
Yeah. It's just, I penciled it in, and it's, just a little over $100. I think it'd be a cool investment and a great project to try out. As I go along with it, I'll bring it into the club, and before I start piecing it together, and maybe we can get some involvement, some conversation going, and have a
Alpha 4 Alpha Mike. Steve, you dropped out. AK4FU, KA4MR, you copy me?
Was that KA4 AMR?
Roger, I just like to check in. I don't know if anybody or not.
Hey, Harold, just barely hear you. You're just in and out of the repeater, but I got you. All right, man, thanks for checking in. All right, folks, you have been listening to the W4SV Everglades Amateur Radio Club Net. Please tune in, same time, same place, same station, and we'll catch you all next week, and hope you have a safe week, stay out of trouble, and be safe. This is W1HQL signing off.